Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today we're going to talk about tires. Now, every RC has a limit, land vehicles, to the maximum tire size that can be used before it becomes basically ridiculous because you just do nothing but bust parts like crazy all the time. And it's hard to know what RC you have for its tire limits until you do some experimenting, okay? So there's no actual size chart out there that even I'm aware of that says, this is the maximum tire size, and then shit happens, okay? Nothing that I'm aware of, okay? However, through experimentation and, of course, watching a lot of YouTubers who play with different tire sizes gives you a pretty good indication for your machine and other machines of what you can pull off before crap happens, okay? Now, the truck in front of you right now, of course, is my Traxxas Summit, and it's a very popular machine everywhere, on YouTube, off YouTube, okay? And a lot of people have tried different size tires with this beast, okay? This is classed, according to Traxxas, as a 1/10 scale. We all know it's realistically, in the real life world, 1/8 scale, okay? Because when you compare it to other 1/8 scale machines, hey, it fits the size category very well, okay? So, it's really not a 1/10 machine, it's really 1/8. So anyways, it comes with some monstrous tires of its own. So I've got one of them here. This is actually one from my wife's Summit. She's got my beater tires right now, which are the same tires, but they're just, you know, they're done for. They're pretty old. Anyway, so you can see it's a pretty big, beefy tire. So a lot of people assume, well, it can handle this, it should be able to handle this. Well, no, that's not necessarily true, okay? And so a couple of those tires that are out there that are actually bad ones for the Summit that cause a lot of damage to the Summit are the Kong tires, okay? That's one. Another one is the RC4W Drive Mudslingers, okay, which are a 40 series 3.8 tire. Now, a lot of people associate 3.8 as being, well, I can use any 3.8 sized tire with this truck. No, you can't. Well, actually, sorry. Yes, you can. You can do whatever the hell you want. You can mod your truck any way you want, but there's a price to pay for some of these mods. And when you use aggressive, oversized, and I mean huge oversized tires, like the Mudslingers and the Kongs, and many of those like them in that size category, you are going to cause problems with your truck. You're going to snap a lot of axles, okay, as in stub axles. Okay, that's that metal piece that hangs off your half shaft, okay? And of course you're going to do damage to the universal joint, or you could call it a diff joint, whatever. It's that little metal piece that attaches to your differential that makes the thing go around, okay? You're going to damage that too, all right, with using oversized aggressive tires, okay? Not only that, you're going to cause premature wear on your bearings. You're going to cause other driveline issues. You are also going to cause excessive heat issues with your motor and DSC trying to move around big, massive lugs, okay? So, but it's your machine, okay? Bottom line. I personally could care less what you do to your machine. I'm just here to hopefully help save you some repair bills, okay? By giving you some advice of what you should not do, okay? And so, being that I also know people that have used these tires and have seen the damages resulting, I wouldn't recommend Kongs or the Mudslingers for the Summit. Those tires would probably be more suitable for a 5th scale machine, okay? Just not for the Summit, okay? They just have a history of destroying your truck. Now, if you like spending money and constantly repairing your truck, by all means, continue on. Me, I mean, I can't afford to just repair my truck every time I pull the trigger. You know, it just gets too excessive, and a big money pit is what happens out of the deal, okay? So, then the next note becomes, well, I could upgrade to better shafts, could I not? Yeah, sure you could. Still going to hurt your bearings, still going to overheat your motor. Better, stronger shafts are also heavier than stock, So yeah, you're just going to create more weak links, because you're also going to start destroying diffs, okay? Even before going to like MIP all steel half shaft systems or something different along that line, you're still going to cause damage to your diffs because you're using too big of a tire. Now, I would probably say if you're a half an inch difference, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. But if you start getting too big, well, you're asking for trouble. That's all there is to it, okay? Now, the tire height on the Summit tires, stock, are about 6.5 inches. These Big Joes are right in at 6 inches. So they're actually a smaller diameter tire, which is actually better for the truck, okay? Even though they're slightly wider, that's negligible, okay? Very, very negligible. Very much almost non-existence, okay? And being smaller in diameter, yes, the vehicle is going to run slower. You lose speed because of a smaller diameter tire. Benefits are longer run time, cooler motor and ESC temps, less stress on the entire drivetrain, okay? Even over stock tires. Funny how that works, eh? So, but it does. Now, these also have a more aggressive tread than the Summit tires too. The drawback that could occur with this type of a tire, okay, is it is a thick rubber, which is not a big deal, but it's a stiffer compound, okay? So it's not as forgiving like the Summit tires as far as rock crawling goes. However, they may perform well rock crawling. This I don't know yet, but I will find out this spring. But I have talked to some people who use these tires on their Summit for rock crawling purposes, and they say they work really well. So we shall see, because I know exactly how my truck performs with stock Summit tires when they're in good shape and when they're basically dead tires, okay? So I know how my truck is in the environments I've had it in. So I'm going to go back to those same environments, but now using the Big Joes, and we'll see how they do. Now these Big Joes are also a very good and well recommended tire for the brushless e-Revo running 4S or 6S, because they don't balloon very much, okay? Which is kind of a nice benefit for that kind of a machine too. So they're good for the e-Revo as well, especially. Now they don't cost big piles of money. They're about $50 US a pair plus shipping, which, you know, you think about it, you got about $200 US in shipping, and you know, if you're a Canadian buying these things, it's going to be a little up there, okay? But is this going to allow you to beat your truck that much harder? Not really. I mean, beating your truck is beating your truck regardless of tires, okay? There's, like I said, there's good points to these tires, you know, but the one major drawback, which I see, and I've experienced already, is the truck is a couple of miles an hour slower. Now, I am running a stock Traxxas Summit. I'm not running brushless on this. I'm running the stock 775 Titan motor, okay, EVX2, LiPo-compatible cutoff ESC. It's a stock truck, okay? The batteries I run in this, however, are 6,500 milliamp, 60 by 120C discharge batteries. I also have a set of 5,200 milliamp batteries that I believe are, I think they're 30C. My wife is actually going to be using those in her Summit for a while. But you do need high discharge rate batteries even for the Summit if you want to get some really good playtime. Because I'm going to tell you another thing that happens. It's not just about breaking parts with bigger tires that happens. It's about whether or not you're going to have a LiPo fire, okay, or a motor burn up, or an ESC lights up on fire on you. Because the bigger the tire, okay, yes, your truck is going to gain speed, but we've already talked about how hard it is on the entire truck and drive system, differentials, axles, and all that. Well, it's also going to cause some excessive overheating of your motor and ESC trying to move those big, heavy friggin' tires around, okay? Because even though even the mudslingers are a narrower tire, they're very aggressively tall, they're heavier, they've got the thick, non-forgiving rubber, so they really, the Summit can't really make them squat, you know, like they're really good, strong tire that way. They also throw off the entire geometry of the Summit because you also gain over an inch of extra height, well over an inch. And that throws off the geometry of your truck, so it's now harder on pretty much all your components, including steering components too, because now you're trying to move around those tires even with stock servos. You know, so, but even if you upgraded your servos to better quality servos, better, stronger servos, you're still not helping the driveline system out of the diffs. And there are no upgradable differentials for the Summit. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind right there. And the differentials to buy a completely assembled unit is extremely expensive. Okay, we're talking almost close to $100 US, depending on where you buy them from. That's a lot of friggin' money for a differential. I rebuilt just the rear one in my truck and in my wife's, and it cost about $60 a unit, okay, plus shipping on those parts. So that's expensive, okay? How often do you want to rebuild dips? How often do you want to replace stub axles at $10 a stub axle? And that's your outside portion, okay? Your inside universal, okay? That's also $10 a piece. Now this is Canadian prices we're talking about, so transfer it to US or whatever you want, I don't care. It's still pretty much about the same. It ain't much difference, okay? So, do you want to keep fixing that truck? Now, like I said, you can go with a slightly bigger tire than the Summit. I don't see why you can't. But I really wouldn't push it too far, because you will destroy your truck without even really trying. And if you're already a hardcore basher, you know, when you bash your machines, not to destroy them, but you bash them hard, think of it this way. Pull the trigger with a set of Kongs. Pull the trigger with a set of Mudslingers or some other brand out there that's really big, huge, aggressive, bulky tire. You know, you could snap stuff just on takeoff, okay? So you just spend all that money on tires to go, damn, I gotta fix my truck, okay? So I was like, oh my God. You know, so I mean, you do whatever you want. I mean, in my thinking, even for a truck like this, it's better to go with a slightly smaller diameter, with a more aggressive tread, especially if you want to get into that crawling thing or even getting through mud better. I mean, these tires are really good, the Summit tires, for pretty much any terrain except for asphalt. They are the nightmare on asphalt because you can carve them right off the rim when you go into a steep turn. So if you're going to drive on asphalt, you basically go in a straight line, slow the truck right down, and then make your turn, okay, very carefully, and you're pretty much okay. But if you turn at any kind of real speed with the Summit tires, you chance actually peeling them right off the rims and destroying the rubber. And then what do? New tires and rims, okay? And even Summit replacement stock tires, even at Dollar Hobbies, aren't that cheap anymore, okay? Now, a tire like this is good for road, for asphalt, for gravel, for dirt, for, you know, probably a certain percentage of mud. Great for rock crawling, from what I've been told, which is why I want to put them to the test on the rock crawling. So they're a great tire, right? And they're going to last for a long, long time. And because they don't squeeze in too easily either, you know, if you go through water, the weight of just the truck should not absorb much water. But I did read the website at Proline, and they did say, because there's only one vent hole on these tires, they say plug the vent hole here and then go through water, and that'll keep water out of your tires. And the vent hole, instead of being in the rims, like it is on the Summit, okay, they have them in the rims here, I think, I'm pretty sure. Yes, they do. Yeah, there's vent holes in the rims. They have it on the tire itself, and it doesn't take much. Take a little dab of friggin' putty or, you know, hot glue even, and don't make it hot, but just, you know, plug that hole real quick, and you can peel it out later when you need to. And yeah, you can prevent water from ever getting into these tires, which is kind of nice. So, are bigger tires a good idea? Not necessarily. Are smaller tires a good idea? Well, they're not bad. I mean, I still have a ton of clearance on my truck, even with these, you know. So, and look at the size difference. I mean, it's just amazing size difference. Yet I still have a ton of clearance in my truck. I can fit that whole Summit tire under there, and I still have space. So I've still got plenty of clearance. So But you can actually undersize too far on tires on your RC, which also has its own damage issues to deal with, okay? So you don't want to go too small of a tire, but you also don't want too large of a tire. But you're going to have to find out what tires are the best. I'd probably say in this day and age, search YouTube. Find out what guys are running. Find out what's doing the best. Talk to them, okay? Ask them questions, you know, and see what their thoughts and ideas are. Another tire that's supposed to be a really good tire, I have to look into it a little bit more, is I believe they're the Trenchers, if I remember correctly. I actually have them favorited in my computer. Yes, Trencher tires. They're also supposed to be a really good tire for the Summit. I've seen a lot of guys running them, and I'm just pulling up the website right now. I'm going to see if they got the... So the size here is 6.5 height by 4.15 inches wide. Okay, so where did our trusty tape measure go? Where? No, these are 6 inches. The Summit is just a borderline 7, so 6 3/4, almost 7 inches tall. And the width here on the Pro lines, 4.5 to 4. So yeah, 4.15 for width on the Trenchers and 6.5. Those are a good suitable tire for the Summit. You know, well within sizes, and they're 3.8 inch as well. You know, you can get these either pre-mounted on rims or just the tire. No big deal there. Get them either way. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. Like, you know, there are some really cool tires out there, but there's also some real baddies that will destroy a machine like this too. So that you got to be, you know, just a word of caution on. Now, when you want to start talking like buggies and truggies and, you know, short course trucks and your crawlers, I mean, they all have their limits too. Every one of them does, you know. So you got to find out what those limits are. Either experiment on your own with a bunch of different tires, or you go on YouTube and you see what the guys are using, see what they're saying, see what their experiences are, what their breakdown rates are, and what could possibly be at fault for causing those breakdowns. Now, I have an Axial SCX-10 truck, which is the deadbolt. Let me just get this stuff out of the way. And it comes stock with 1.9 inch Trepidors, which are kind of an interesting tire. Okay, I really honestly don't like them because I find that for what I do, they're absolutely useless. And my truck is also getting extremely heavy these days too. So I'm running 2.2 G-made Bighorns, which I ran these same tires on my RS-10 crawler for the life of that crawler, and before I parted it out and sold what I wanted and kept what I wanted. And what I did keep were the bead locks because they're weighted, and I kept the tires, and I ended up sealing the holes from the inside and made these air-filled because my foam's rotted right out. So now they're air-filled and they're awesome. Okay, but this is still a good sized tire for this truck. Why? Because Axial makes trucks that come with the 2.2s. Okay, have I had driveline issues? 0. Have I had bearing issues? 0. Have I done any damage to my truck with these tires as a result of these tires being on this truck? Absolutely 0. So, good tire size choice. Looks good on the truck. I've also jacked up my truck a little bit too because I had to use 2.2s with this body shell. Okay, but I mean, they're a great tire. I love these tires. There are better tires out there than the G-made Bighorns, I'm sure. Okay, but my experience I've had with them, absolutely awesome. I love them. Eventually I'm going to try different tires too because I want to experiment with different types of treads. You know, because I like these, you know, more open areas of tread patterns. You know, and yeah, you can cut tires, you know, and make them look bigger, okay? But you compromise the structural integrity of the rubber and the tire when you start snipping treads out to make some funky new pattern, okay? And you're still, well, you may find that for yourself, for your driving style, it benefited you. For my driving style, it doesn't matter what I do to a set of trepidors, they aren't going to work any better for me, period. Okay? Because one of the biggest problems with the trepidors now is they are very, very soft, okay, which is fine, good for grabbing on rocks when they're dry. But the tread is still too shallow no matter what. They will not grip anywhere close to what I need for the terrains that I'm on. Even in the winter time, these are the most useless tires there are for winter. They can't grip anything, okay? So, yeah, but you can put chains on. I don't want to bother with chains. Anyway, that's me. We all have our preferences, this is for sure. But people have asked advice, they ask for help, you know, about, you know, this and that. And there was a discussion even on a group I'm involved with, and the question was brought up about a set of tires for a Summit. And, you know, I told the gentleman the same thing. Well, you can do whatever you want. It's your money, it's your truck. If you want a money pit, go for it. However, I wouldn't run those tires. Now, they weren't any of the ones that I've named out. They were a different brand altogether. But they were massive tires. I mean, they made the Summit tires look friggin' small, okay? Like, they're big. And so, at least from my viewpoint, you know, because they also have known issues of rubbing into the A-arms, apparently, from what the guy was told, and all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah, well, if it's already a known issue, why would you want to get them? It would be my question, right? And so that's the kind of advice, you know, like I told him, it's your vehicle, you know, I mean, there are other choices out there. But, and that's what I'm telling you guys is the same thing. And even in a real vehicle, now I'm talking from a mechanic aspect, because I've been a mechanic for a couple of decades now, and I can tell you right now, you put oversized tires on your car, your minivan, your truck, you're compromising your vehicle and asking for a lot of premature breakdowns. Okay, not to mention dangerous driving stuff in real vehicles by jacking them up with tires and stuff. Okay, but to each his or her own, and it's your wallet you're going to empty, so hey, it's up to you. I'm just the messenger to say, here's some helpful information, hopefully, that gets you into hopefully what you need, and to not have to worry about going crazy with bigger repair bills all the time, you know. And but anyways, guys, that's pretty much about it, and it covers it. If you got questions, comments, feel free to ask. I'll do the best as always to answer them, and we will catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.